All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the quick run through of the formulated automation bot commander. So that means basically we'll run through a couple processes, one in Robocorp and the other in UiPath, which is the two formats right now we support, two platforms. Let me just share my screen. Now you should see processes. This is our list of bots we have currently in this demo that we have available. Turkish Lira conversion bot, that's a pretty simple one, runs in UiPath. This one will allow you to convert Turkish Lira into US dollars by going to Bing, typing the amount into the browser, and getting you the conversion rate. Important things to note here, this is pulled in via the bot's definition from UiPath. So if you define an input argument in your bot, it's going to show up here. So in this case, it's an integer. We're going to put in, let's say 3560, and then click run bot, and you will see this run. You've got a little bit of extra information down here about the bot or the definition, but this is actually running on our orchestrator instance. Click run. And you can see the run running. You can see the run number here. So you can see that it's pending. And then if we want to see the raw data, we can actually see all the information that came back from the API. But if you're the end user, all you really care about is getting this data out. So let's see if I'll have to give it a second to run. While it's running, we can just go ahead and check out the other bot, which is our stock history bot. Stock history bot, very similar. In this case, we're actually specifying the arguments on our side, because if you're used to the Robocorp platform, there's no way to actually specify input arguments as the bot definition. So in this case, you'd have to specify it yourself. But again, this is all specified, just to be clear, in the project. You would actually put a file in here in the project that's very simple. Either the demo, or sorry, there's an example in the project. You would go through that. You would add in the bots you care about using the basic API authentication tokens that you've gotten from the provider. But then it allows you to add any bot to this program that end user can log in and run. So let's run the ticker Tesla, and we'll click run here. Now, while that one's going, we can go back over here. See if this guy's done. Of course it fails.
Both of them.
Both of them. Looking at Robocorp, here is the actual output. You can see we've actually downloaded the Tesla CSV. So in this case, we put in the stock ticker, we got back out the data.
Very cool.
And so that is Robocorp. And then along the lines of UiPath, we're still waiting for these results. At some point I'll fix this. I have no idea what went wrong. It's great. I fixed the one and broke the other one.
See what it says. Open the raw data.
Fail.
I was experiencing a timeout.
Timeout.
Oh, it faulted. Yeah, this is what I was seeing as well. Yeah.
Ooh.
I think it might be the machine, because this is this new machine.
Yep, that's totally true.
But here's the thing is how easy it is for us to diagnose this, right? It's all in front of you. We don't have to go into the orchestrator. If we're on the business side, there's an opportunity here that, like, you know, you have some information and you're not just filing a ticket saying it didn't work. You have an exception that you can actually work with.
That's right. So that's important. So let's just quickly look at what's going on here. I'm just going to double check on our instance here. Looks like we have a lot of browsers open. Let's see what happened. A lot of browsers open.
Is this the machine running on Azure?
Yeah. So
it's akin to the S3 workspaces, right? Like basically licensed Windows machine.
Yeah. Let's do this. Cool. We can just start this over real quick. I can go through this really fast. Let's just solve this problem the old-fashioned.
Do you think we're gonna keep this in the recording?
No, I think I was just gonna. Okay. I was just gonna.
Hold on just a second. This number keeps calling me. Hello. You getting this?
Oh, it's your extended warranty. You got to get the extended warranty. Otherwise,
car that I don't even have.
Yeah, it's gonna be. You know, I get those all the time. I'm actually blacklisted on their service as well now, because I've taken them through so many long-winded sales pitches. Like Toyota Corolla, then they get to this point where they're like, "Have you made any modifications?" I'm like, "No." Well, there's one. I put nitrous on it, and I put a turbocharger. And they usually hang up at that point. Okay, stop share. So I'm actually going to start with. So we'll show the page on the Well, I guess I should say if this runs. Let me do that first. Bot commander, bots. Pending, failed, complete. Let's run it one more time. 3, 4. Run. Pending. Okay. Then I'm going to. It's still pending, which is good. It's a good sign. There we go. Okay, I have a complete one. I have a complete on the on stock history
Good.
bot, and I have the basic page. And then what I'm going to share is 2 things. I'm going to share. I'm making my window smaller right now. I'm going to share the configuration file because it doesn't have any secrets in it.
Cool.
Just to kind of give that idea, because if I think this is for developers, that makes a lot of sense. Let me just close some windows up and make this the same size as the stock window. Sake of simplicity.
I went and got a haircut. Yet was it yesterday? Yesterday, maybe the day before. First haircut in like 6 months.
I'm still using the old clippers.
Nice.
I need to go do it. But how did it feel? Did it feel safe?
Oh yeah, it was super safe. Then she was saying like they've been busy, but yeah, I just kept my mask on the whole time. She just pulls down like the thing, and yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I mean I feel like we're figuring things out finally. Okay, so I'm just going to take Fulton Works out of here. Just taking personal data. Okay, there we go. So there's our ACL. All right. Let me see if I can pause this and see if it'll kick me 2 files. I don't think it will, but. All right, this is the demo for the Bot Commander platform that we built. Just to give a quick overview, Bot Commander is designed to allow you to let end users log in through your normal login system, be that Active Directory or if you have Google, log in and run the bots that you have built on either UiPath or Robocorp. So we support both platforms. It's an open source project, and so you are expected to do some configuration on your end, configuring both the login credentials that you're going to use. That could be Google, or that could be what we're using in our demonstration here, which is Auth0. And that is also the other piece is defining which bots you want them to have access to. So that means getting their credentials from the API from UiPath, or getting their credentials from Robocorp, and then defining the bots you want people to have access to. I'm going to start quickly with a share of the configuration file, because I think that's probably, if you're coming at this from the developer angle, fairly useful. So here's what a configuration file looks like. We have our basic ACL, and this allows us to kind of define who has access to what. In this case, we're allowing everybody in formulated automation to access the bots we have as users. We defined a group called admins, and we put ourselves in there as admins. And then we have another group with a random email broken for testing. In this case, we have the list of bots. We have a bot called Turkish Lira bot, which actually takes Turkish Lira and turns it into US dollars using Bing as a source. So it's an automation that runs a browser. The browser then goes to Bing, searches for the amount, and you get back your conversion rate, just as a demonstration of using this. The other piece is stock history bot. That's actually in Robocorp or RoboCloud. That bot is a very simple bot that goes to Yahoo Finance and downloads the stock history of a stock you select. You'll notice in this one, we've actually defined that ticker is a required input. So you'll have to put in a ticker symbol, and that's how we'll know which one to search for. It's also pretty clear here, but the ACL, you're allowing which groups are allowed to have access to these bots. In this case, we allow admins and users obviously we've defined as ourselves formulated automation, and admins as ourselves. So let me go and stop the share, and we'll actually show the actual bot commander interface. So this is all written in React.
Yeah, so the project is a Next.js project. It's all self-enclosed. It runs nice and tidily. The only dependency is Node. So if you want to throw it up on a Docker instance on your own environment or run it locally, it's all pretty easy to get started. Tons of docs and community at nextjs.org.
Yeah, Next.js is a fairly mature platform, and so we've chosen that as well. If you're a developer and you want to come in and extend this, and let's say you want to build a more complicated form for the end user to use, you can do that as well. But here we're sharing the actual demo we have. Let's go look at Turkish Lira conversion bot. In this case, this one's actually pulling the information from UiPath. So we know that it requires an input Lira argument because of what UiPath is telling us. So when I define the robot, I define that as a argument that was required, and that's now illustrated here and automatically builds a form for me to allow me to input that value. So if I put that in here, I'm going to say run bot. You'll see the basic details of the bot down here. We also give out a little bit of information from the API, so you can actually see things like what's being returned by UiPath. You can hide this from the end user, but this is really great if you're a developer and you want to kind of jump in here and see what's actually going on. So I'm going to hit run bot, and this is going to run. And while that's running, we'll go over to our other bot, which is stock history bot. Stock history bot. This one's in Robocorp. As you saw in the configuration file, we actually had to specify the tickers required there. Robocorp doesn't have a sense of a definition of required inputs from their API. The future, if that's added, we can add that pretty easily here. But let's do Tesla. Whoops. Where is it at? All right, I'm going to hit run bot, and we're going to see the run ID, the fact that it's pending. We can see some raw data of what's actually going on. What the, this is like an in process variable, but we've actually tagged it pending because we know what these mean. Let's go over and see if the Turkish Lira bot. Okay, so this is complete. So 3, 4, 6, 5. We've got run detail information, but most importantly, we've actually parsed the output arguments, and we've presented this to the end user. That's me. So the goal here is, without having to build an interface for the user, I was able to allow somebody to log in and run my bot with an input that I've allowed and have an output to them.
Right. One thing to mention about these UiPath bots is we do see a lot of UiPath automations generating files and usually distributing them via SharePoint or email, and that all works just well and good. We're just demonstrating we support the input and output arguments.
Yeah, we're working on other options, alternate ways to do this, but obviously right now, most UiPath developers are kind of putting this into their own corporate, file share solution. So that might still be something you would do in here. We're looking at options of adding the ability to put files in here. In Robocorp's case, they have an idea called file artifacts. So file artifacts are everything that would essentially be outputted by the bot and the robot framework. Now, in this case, you get a lot of extra stuff. You get a report, you get the XML of what happened on the output and the standard log. But most importantly, we have a file here, Tesla CSV. So that's actually the file that we downloaded from Yahoo Finance using the automation. So this is an example of, as you as a developer could choose, you don't have to put all these files in here for the end user, but we are, and we're allowing the end user to go ahead and see, hey, this is actually what I wanted. I can click this and it will go ahead and download that for me. I guess I can wait for it to download. I think it's going to require, it's going to require Excel. So, so in this case, I've gone ahead and downloaded that CSV, and that is essentially how we have this set up. And I think that's the complete idea of what we have now. Obviously, there's a lot of features we want to start adding to this. We're using this for our own use for clients, and this has been really helpful in letting them have access to running maybe one-off bots or running, processes that they need to have some input into and be able to see the output easily without having to jump into the more complicated routes like Orchestrator or the platforms.
Yeah, if you're anything like us, you do not want your end business users necessarily in Orchestrator. I mean, the training that's required there, and also the chance that something goes wrong is it's not necessarily where they're most comfortable. And basically, this is an API client for these two platforms. It's a starting point. Feel free to extend it, check it out. It's available on GitHub, and take a look. It's early stage, as we've kind of called out. It's still in the works, but it is functional, and we invite the community to check it out and extend it.
Yeah. And so by all means, hit us up with some features, jump on GitHub, tell us if there's anything you want us to add or that's a priority for you or an area where you kind of feel like there's something that we're missing here. We'd love to hear the feedback. Thanks.
Thanks.